Hello, everyone. It is Tuesday, the 27th of February, 2024. A lot of twos, Tuesday, 27. 27 is also a sacred gematria number or number in general. I've said it before with the 37 and the 73 being hexagonal numbers, triangular numbers, mirror numbers, and when you times them together, it comes to 2701, which is a huge number used in religious and ceremonial places for addresses, postal codes, or even like acreage for land that is used. And then with even with 9/11, the towers that went down, it was 1, 2, and 7. Controlled demolitions, by the way, were also involved in that. And then it was called Ground Zero. So even with that, just for like a very obvious reference, I give that point just to show you just how big it is. And yeah, so I've been up since like 2:30 a.m. and I just I cannot sleep. And just with like my predictions and stuff like that I've been sharing more out to the public now for for about 4 years now. And everything that I've been forecasting has turned out to be terrifyingly accurate and heartbreaking. And so there's even more excess deaths coming out, links to the therapeutics that were forced on a lot of people, and especially in Canada, which is why I'm not letting this go. It ruined my life, a lot of other people I know, their lives, and a lot of people have injuries, and or there are people that have died, and so including infants and spontaneous abortions. And I've shared those VAERS that were reported even as early as February of 2021, and that I was sharing to all levels of government, and that I was sharing to the health experts and the other experts, like even the chief of defense staff and others who were imposing these measures and mandates on their soldiers and criminally. And so I wanted to get into that, but before I do, actually no, I'll get into that because no, I'll go into my I'll go into him again, because this is a really good one. This is over an hour long, so I'm going to break it up. But this is Dollar Vigilante, and they just finished the Anarchapulco. The Anarchapulco, I think it was like last week or maybe the week before, and he may have lost like a lot of money on that, even though it was a really good event. I would love to go, but oh, there we go. Anyway. There's a lot of good points in this one. Living with the things you do to she. Well, things are getting so strange. I'd like to tell you everything I've seen. Everything I've seen? Oh, the man at the back as he starts to collapse. His eyes are as red as the sun. And the girl in the corner that no one informed. Stick a fork in her cause she's done. Oh, yeah, we're served ranking. Every protein was spiking. There was no one refusing. And they all started swooning. And the man at the back said, heaven on the jam, it'll tell it to a bomb blitz. And the girl in the corner said, there, I got a corner, it'll tell it to a bomb blitz.
It's Lucy and Jeff going for walks and talks, talk about banksters and Bitcoin and the apocalypse and stuff. It's Lucy and Jeff and tacos and kisses.
I like his intro.
How you doing today, Lucy? Oh, pretty good. Had a crazy week in Acapulco and all that. I think I ate too many tacos. I've been mostly in bed for the last few days. But it's good to get out and go for our walks. And then I'll keep everyone curses. Yeah, it was a crazy week, Lucy. 8 full days for me. Anyway, I'll talk about that a little later. Missed out on lots of stuff for the last, basically almost 2 weeks. It's actually kind of nice, actually, to not pay attention to the world, because the world is basically insane. So I was just starting to look in the last few days, and even today, breaking, a U.S. military aircraft is tracking an unidentified high-altitude balloon flying over the western part of the United States. Wait a sec. They did that last February. I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day of CIA PSYOPs. It's like, are they just doing them all again? They managed to mesmerize people for like a month last time with just a balloon. Everyone is watching it. What's it doing? It's a Chinese spy balloon.
Yeah.
And they're doing it again. It's amazing how they can keep people just so mesmerized while they keep them enslaved and depopulate them all. It's so genius. They've got it down to a total art, which they have for a long time. It's been thousands of years they've been doing this stuff. Now, who is it? Well, it's not the same people, right? Although some of them might live thousands of years.
I don't think so.
But it's the same general people. The Nephilim types.
I'm not necessarily, convinced about the Nephilim types, but there's definitely a lot of inbreeding going on, generational inbreeding that's been going on for thousands of years, and which is why we're not getting the best out of the privileged, entitled upper class anymore, right? Like there's just been way too much inbreeding, I think, and they're so far removed from reality. I don't even think that they've ever been in reality or lived in reality.
Some of the people that they call Jews, stuff like that, they've been controlling all this stuff for thousands of years.
Yeah.
They talked about it all the time, even back in Rome. It was bread and circuses while they became more and more enslaved, just like they are in the West now. They're just given more and more bread and circuses, although not much bread. People can't afford bread anymore, but they're giving them the circuses. So we missed the Super Bowl last week while we were doing an Acapulco and everything else all week long. And like I said, it's all just bread and circuses.
That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day. They just contracted to pay one player on one team $6 million.
That's Bill Cooper.
A year. Can you believe this?
And why is that?
It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become restive, and when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor? He sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum. Then he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world, so that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is, so they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated, so they don't ever question the emperor. That's why they pay a player on a football team or a baseball team $1 million or $2 million or $3 million a year. It is the Roman circus. I know men who don't know anything in the world except who plays third base for the Mets, and they think that's a great accomplishment. And they meet and pat each other on the back and bond and go have cocktails and talk about what this guy that plays third base for the Mets did in last night's game. It's sad. It's really sad.
Is there any room in a kind of society where these manipulations are not taking place for this type of entertainment, or any type of entertainment at all?
If people understand that a game is a game, if people understand that nobody, no matter what they do, is worth paying $2 or $3 million a year for, people should be able to get rich if they want to, by the sweat of their individual labor.
Yeah.
Okay? By going out and doing something for the world. Not by taking people's minds away from the emperor.
Yeah, Bill Cooper, he was great. Kind of
Remember the 5th of November.
funny you mentioned how some athletes are making $6 million a year now. Like NBA guys make like $50 to $100 million a year, the top guys. $6 million a year in the NBA is like someone on like he doesn't even play. He's just like a bench warmer. Like Shohei Ohtani, who signed a $700 million or $800 million contract recently. And the funny part is he is a complete and total moron, because he said in order to help out the LA Dodgers, he wasn't going to take any of the payment for it for 10 years, which means he'll essentially get Basically nothing, because the US dollar won't even exist 10 years from now. And if it does, by any chance, like the Zimbabwe dollar, it's still hanging in, $700 million will buy you like maybe a Happy Meal at McDonald's, as they'll be printing their $100 trillion notes.
Yeah. So where do we see it where there's like a high cost of living, right? Where the currency, where it just gets overinflated in third world countries, in overdeveloped countries, right? So you got China and in India for the overdeveloped countries. Okay, so this is where we're heading towards, right? Where there's going to be more chronic illnesses. There's going to be more, it's going to be ridiculous if we keep on this path and we don't have the same climate, as especially as India. It is what it is. Well, I mean, it depends on where you are. Obviously, it's a big country with a big population. But Venezuela is another example, and you name it. And so with Canada, we are losing the value of our dollar, and so it's like it's already become insane. Really has, and it's under the and it's because of people within cabinet and Senate that have been in for a very long time, and it's generational, and they need to get the fuck out peacefully. Sorry for swearing again. Okay, they need to get out and let way more qualified, competent people in, which at this point could be a fucking doormat. Okay, and safer for us, right? Because these people are actually causing harm and exploiting us at this point. Okay, and it's again peacefully, but like they need to be fired and held accountable. And I'm just over people within government that are making excuses that they can't rock the boat or whatever. When I know people personally within government that rocked the boat and got kicked out because not enough people stood up and defended them or supported them or looked at the research and the work that they were giving, even though they had over 20 years service. And a lot of these people in their departments, agencies, or organizations, and had like the best personnel evaluation reports, development reports, and all of that stuff, and award winners, academic accolades, etc., you name it. And so why is it that like the people that were the most competent in their departments and agencies kicked out, vilified, character assassinated, lives ruined? People I know, they were even special forces, not just Dallas, but countless others that I can't name. Okay, even Sartex, okay, that actually did get the vaccines and got injured so permanently and have kids, and infuriating. And so I'm going to get to that, but it's all the cost of having people like Justin Trudeau, Bill Blair, Jim Watson, Chrystia Freeland, Patty Hajdu, all these fucking clowns, not a brain cell amongst them. And I know that's harsh, but that's just where we're at. Look at the country. Like the performance, their performances have been poor. And for us, we would get PDRs, like evaluation reports from our supervisors every 6 months in government jobs, right? Like the first responder type jobs. Like, why is there not the same type of measurements of performance within cabinet or Senate? Because everyone there all get an F. Okay, not only for this, but also because of failing. They're failing and they have failed. All of their performance reports show that, right? So like with the inflation going up, with the housing crisis, with the illegal immigration crisis, with crime rates going up, with actual Canadian-born citizens getting like pushed out of their homes, with destruction companies building 15-minute cities and destroying and shredding millions of trees just in the province of Ontario alone, when that is exactly what we need in order to survive this and have better climates, warmer weather when we need it, cooler weather, when we also need it, right? Because like within Canada too, we have cycles, and you cannot disrupt the divine sun's cycles and the luminaries' cycles that dictate the seasons and stuff like that. Like you can't disrupt that. Like, who the fuck are you to do that? This is what I mean. Like, just people are just slapping graffiti on works of art and throwing paint on works of art. And that's just where we're at as a society. Like, we're destroying beautiful infrastructure even. And we're making cookie cutter disgusting houses on a little piece of land, when the entire fucking population of the world can have half an acre and fit in the state of Texas. We're not overpopulated, and I will reiterate that we are not overpopulated. And there's been overpopulated. There's been advanced civilizations that have inhabited the earth before, and we can prove that just by traveling and seeing the old ruins and infrastructure and the buildings that are still existing, that haven't been buried or flooded over or covered over, buried. I already said that. Anyway, high heat events as well and stuff like that, and where we've had like billions more people. And people don't want to see that. They don't want to believe that. They want to convince themselves that their fucking world is just, like everything is just what Netflix says. Everything is just what Rachel Maddow from CBC, CNN, whatever she's from, whatever she says, right? but I'm going to also preview wrong on that because I'm going to be talking about Vice News as soon as he gets to it.
Oh, Tani, you should watch my videos and not sign up to the Dollar Vigilante. And, but I guess you probably wouldn't be one of the top baseball athletes if you were doing that kind of stuff. So he's all focused on that and doesn't even know how what's going on in the world or how the monetary system works. Although he'll be fine. He's got tons and tons of sponsors and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mentioned they seem to be like alluding to something going to happen at the Super Bowl. They had who was it, Mayorkas or something, who's I'm pretty sure a Jew. Actually, everyone in the U.S. government's basically a Jew or Zionist or Israeli. It's incredible. Like if everyone in Congress and who was like any sort of deputy or anything for the U.S. government, if they were all Mexican, people would be like, that's weird. But no, they're all Jews, Zionist, Israeli types. But he was warning about something.
Oh, so and I don't know if I don't know if you caught that, but with Bill Cooper, he died at the hands of people that were corrupted within government as well, which is disgusting. And so on the 5th of November 2001, so that's why even with V for Vendetta, it says like remember the 5th of November. It's literally telling you in plain sight to look at 9/11, to look at Bill Cooper's friggin' work and all of that stuff, and the cover-ups and the conspiracies and so again, like you don't look at something like that as facts. You have to like look into it and get the facts, but it's all connected.
And it turned out nothing happened to the Super Bowl, and of course, what's her name? I don't even know her name. Oh, Taylor Swift won because of course that was the whole thing. First, George Soros buys all her music like 4 years ago. Then they make her into super famous. And then they say she has to like have a boyfriend who's like the sponsor for Pfizer, who's trying to kill everyone in the world. So their team won. But there was something that happened right afterwards at the Kansas City Chief Parade. Like 22 people were shot, including 9 children at the parade. They also said 3 dead, 22 injured. Someone said, feels like I've seen that 322 number before. Also noticed a little eye at the parade shooting site. 322, Skull and Bones, George Bush and all them, John Kerry.
Yeah, so like that's why even on March 22nd, there's usually some kind of a stupid freaking event that happens internationally somewhere where it's like literally paying homage to Skull and Bones, which is to me, this is just as stupid as LARPing. Anyways, okay, not as stupid. These are not stupid things. They're not stupid things. I take that back. I'm sorry. Just there are more useful things to do right now in this cycle of life, like right now, maybe 10 years ago, right? But we are literally in crisis mode right now, and we need to fucking focus. We need to focus because we don't possibly have like a lot of time left. Like not to sound dramatic, but before, like again, like we are even more like fucking exploited, right? Like there's already going to be more shipping delays and food supply issues and stuff like that. We're already seeing it. And major cities, 0% of land or area within cities is actually, do they grow, or produce any of the food that they're consuming? And I've talked about this before. So like even in surrounding areas, you absolutely need to have rural areas where people are growing, managing food of various sorts, like animals included, plant life and all that stuff, and then even growing plants that actually absorb the heavy metals and chemicals within the soil that is now all over the place because of chemtrails and geoengineering and weather modification that Canada has like already yet again agreed to even more of happening here. So not Canadians, like just a few people that are just fucking retarded. Literally retarded, because you'd have to be mentally retarded to actually approve this and authorize this, and because it's actually harming people. So anyways, there's like things like mustard plants and other plants that actually the root systems go really, really far down in the soil, or they're supposed to, and then that's what it does, attract or absorb the heavy metals and stuff like that, so that when you have other crops like parallel to these crops, they are not as impacted, at all from like these heavy metals and toxins and chemicals and stuff like that are in the soil now. And then you can also assist with worms and like more more insect life further underground, because like then it won't be as poisoned, right? And so like people do not really realize the impact of what they're doing. I mean, people like Bill Gates do, because he's a freak, and people think that he's such a good guy, but like he's like also one of those people that is trying to buy up all the land where there's trees already there, and trying to tell everyone else that they shouldn't have trees, and that doesn't help the environment, when that's exactly what is needed. That is literally the number one solution for all the climate stuff that's going on, the pollution, the friggin' like the atmospheric issues, because we're not having that filtration system. Trees are filtration systems amongst so many other things, and their roots also, they're supposed to go really, really, really like down underground, and because that's our petroleum, and that's why even with drilling, like you don't go like up, like you don't go close to the surface more than like 30,000 feet, right? Like drilling often happens between 30 and 50,000 feet, and there's a reason for that as well, but it's all connected.
Yeah, they do it all in plain
All
sight.
over the place.
Of course, the person turns out that they said shot all these people. He was just in like a dispute with another guy, they said, and he shot like everybody at the parade.
Fucking crazy, man.
But he was darker skinned, so there wasn't too much coverage of it. And in fact, they've been trying to like cover up for the actual shooter. Like the shooter has become the victim. So the mayor of Kansas City came out and he's like, hey, don't call him a thug. I don't know, when you just like shoot everyone at a parade because you got pissed off about something, you're kind of...
Yeah, so there's a lot of other words I would call him, and thug is like literally not even number 5 on a list. Fucker, piece of shit, slimeball, criminal. I mean, there's so many I can name, you know.
Not like a thug, I think. But you can't talk about that.
Murderer.
Then there's GoFundMe, that
Psycho.
the family of the shooter, Lindell Mays, posted a GoFundMe to get him through, quotes, tragic time.
Yeah, so this is by Melissa Koenig, published on February 21st. So I hope that people do not donate, because if you are also a psychopath.
And that's fine. That stayed up on GoFundMe. And
Or a
yeah, he's the
sociopath.
victim. It's a very tragic time for him, having shot 22 people at a parade for a football game. But I don't know if you remember, GoFundMe. Here's also GoFundMe. GoFundMe removes donation page for Canadian trucker protest.
Of course.
Yeah, I didn't have time to watch any of it. And I didn't hear too much about too many satanic halftime shows this year. So that's odd. I don't know what they're doing there. That's just their normal staple if they didn't. But they did have Pedo Pete on. You know, the most expensive commercial airtime in the world at the Super Bowl. They put on like a 30-second commercial with Pedo Pete talking about how there's not enough chips in the potato chip bags anymore.
Super Bowl Sunday. If you're anything like me, you like to be surrounded by a snack or two while watching the big game. You know, when buying snacks for the game, you might have noticed one thing. Sports drinks bottles are smaller. A bag of chips has fewer chips, but they're still charging it just as much. And as an ice cream lover, what makes me the most angry is that ice cream cartons have actually shrunk in size, but not in price.
Yeah, no need to talk.
And so ice cream is also a code word for certain groups of people that are human trafficked for the sexual and or other perverted purposes of certain people that think that they are above the law, because they have been above the law their entire lives, their families' entire lives, their families before them, etc. So even within the UK, or you know, outside of the UK, you've got like London and London City and Westminster City that are divided, and with the city of London, they have their own. It's a banking community. It's and it's been there for many years. Obviously, it predates. I don't know if that's a word, but it came after a lot of like ancient runes that are still throughout the city, very prevalent, and they have their own law enforcement as well, right, for the rich banker types, right? So it's rules for thee, not for me. And they have like their own Gestapo or their own people that will just look away, right? They get paid good money. They're seen as like the Armani police, or that's like the nickname. And so Armani is a very rich, you know, designer brand. And so like that's just like they're living happy lives, right? They're not going to rock the boat. So like a lot of these people are absolutely, and I know this for a fact, they're turning a blind eye to a lot of fucking crime that you and I would get like multiple life prisons for and stuff like that, because even people that peacefully attended freedom convoys, because of morons like Justin Ling from Vice News, which is not a news station at all, and by the way, they're going under, which I love, and I'm going to get to their corrupted people as well, and these people need jail, and I hope they do. But anyway, I'm all over the place.
About how the CIA did 9/11. No need to talk about how the CIA, Mossad, mostly Mossad, did the October 7th in Israel. No need to talk about the genocide. No reason to talk about how no one can even afford anything anymore. But let's go after Frito-Lays, because there's a few less chips in their bags. It's just unbelievable. And of course, the reason that is, it's called shrinkflation. And this is what happens in Venezuela and Zimbabwe and places like the US, which are third world shitholes that are printing up trillions of dollars of notes. And so many of the manufacturers, actually, they don't like to raise their prices, because when they do, especially if their competitor didn't raise prices, people are so broke in the US that if they see like one bag of chips is 5 cents cheaper, they'll buy the other one. So instead of doing that, they do something that is very well known in places that are nearing hyperinflation or are in hyperinflation. And that is to reduce the serving sizes inside the same looking bag in order to save costs. And of course, that's all a result of the US government going into massive amounts of debt, especially with their
massive amounts of debt. Canada as well, New Zealand as well, Australia as well, Spain as well. But there's people literally from all over the world telling me that places that are supposed to be first world countries that this is happening. And also with Lay's chips, I will add on to that, they're also owned by, you know, people that are also known to put possible fetal cells in their food and drinks, right? Even through what they're calling natural flavoring, because it's natural, fucking disgusting. And Bill Gates, his father's who helped create Planned Parenthood. And I'm not making this stuff up. I've shared this for years, and it's just frustrating and infuriating that I'm still shadow banned, getting accounts deleted. People that I know, people that are in the truther community and like internationally, they're still getting fucking murdered, and people that are called pedo Pete are literally the ones that are leading the countries into the ground. Like, it's just I don't understand like why the men are not stepping up, and like especially the men, well, specifically the men that are lawyers, like the legal system and people in law enforcement uniforms, like RCMP or I don't know, Ottawa Police Services, OPP. I don't know, but like people really fucking need to start getting arrested soon.
Inflation Act that came out
the only way it's going to work
a couple of years ago.
No harm.
That caused massive inflation, of course, as it should. That was the name of the act. And then the central bank printing tons of money because the US government keeps going into more debt. So that's who's actually to blame. But you have Pedo Pete sitting there saying you should get mad at like Frito-Lays and PepsiCo and stuff. Well, first of all, I would point out none of that stuff's food. You shouldn't eat any of it.
Yep.
That stuff is so laden with things that destroy you that it should basically be called poison. And just in case you didn't know, nothing should need an ingredients list. The food you're eating should be the ingredient. If it's not, and it's made by any major company, it's not food, it's poison. But anyway, people are mad. I'm not getting enough poison in my bag. But like I pointed out, I didn't hear too much about the halftime show, so I don't know what happened there. Maybe they're like, yeah, everyone, we've already got it. The whole world's demonic now. We don't even have to do it anymore. But here's the halftime show America really wants.
I don't want that. A lot.
Not just for Hillary, by the way, but all of them.
Everyone I know wants jail, fired. That's what they want. And they can't believe it has not happened yet. No one wants it. Like no one I know, just maybe, well, that's a lie. There's a handful of people that won an election, because they think that an election is going to fucking solve this problem. They're not seeing that even with the conservative parties now, they were wrong about COVID, the pandemic. They've been wrong about Afghanistan, Ukraine and Russia, and Israel and Palestine. People are not seeing that, and they think that these people are somehow the solution. And it's not. No. So fuck elections. How about we fire them all? Okay. Keep the handful of people who actually have proven that they were trying to speak out on this stuff. Okay. And those people actually like promote because like that was very courageous and go from there.
And they should,
play their
because that's who's destroying them all. And people will really find that out soon as things get worse. But yeah, so just checking to see what happened. What else happened in the last week or so? Video shows Florida deputy repeatedly shoot at man after thinking falling acorn was gunfire.
What? Oh, wait, right there?
I just can't.
I don't know. My legs went numb.
Oh my God. Because even seeing that, okay, 15 years I was an infantry officer. I've deployed special fucking forces, all of this stuff. And then I've even since been like an advanced firearms shooting instructor for law enforcement and peace officers and stuff like that. And I will fucking say, you train as you fight. Okay. There's a lot of people not getting the training. I know that for a fact because I talk to people in the community, and a lot of people are not getting the training that they need. And you need to identify a fucking target before you shoot, you psychopath. Literally shooting at fucking nothing is so insane to me. And then also, by the way, directed towards a human being in the vehicle. So like spoiler alert on that as well, if you weren't even tracking that, terrifying. And this has happened before. There have been times where even people are on the floor begging and saying like they're terrified. They're not armed or anything like that. And for some reason, the cop just sees them as a threat and repeatedly unloads a fucking magazine in that person. And body cam footage from the other person catching this, people trying to cover it up, like even shooting at pregnant women, like you fucking name it. And so again, like I'm just saying that we need to do a lot better right now. There's a lot of things that we need to focus on. Okay. And this woke agenda and supporting and promoting this woke agenda is not one of them. And I'm also going to further to that because I was talking yesterday on my my Instagram about the trucker movement and stuff like that, and how actually not providing services to major cities would be the most effective way to get them to wake the fuck up, because the people that are voting for these morons, okay, and not actually putting the pressure on these morons because they're all in their cities with them, they're having coffee, tea, they're doing the services for them, they're driving them to parliament or doing their fucking hair or doing their food or whatever you want to call it, okay? So these assholes are supporting these people and they're also profiting off of this shit, okay? So, stop giving services to these people, right? If we're going to be dealing with food shortages, deliver to more rural and suburban areas, and go from there, right? So even with waste removal, I would also go as far as saying that, because that one would be the fastest thing, right? Because even with truck deliveries and stuff like that, like you could go like a few weeks because there's warehouses and supplies on standby like all over the country and within the continental US, right? So we still have that. But with waste removal, okay, you go a month without having the garbage picked up outside your fucking house. Like, good luck with that, okay? Because like there's so many waste, like hazard material, like issues with that, like hazardous materials, and you can make people sick, right? Like that is why we got out of the dark ages of these health issues that we were having with anyway. It's because of waste management and cleaner conditions within homes and cleaner water, obviously. And so these are the big things. So like this vaccine push saying that that's what like made people healthier and stuff like that. That is such a lie. That is such a lie. And I've shown that in other videos. So I'm already like delaying this or extending this, not delaying this. I'm extending this a lot, but like I just get so fired up because you like there's shoot targets, right? Like that you train for and stuff like that as well. Like when you're going clearing buildings and stuff like that, even like in all weather conditions, but also all light conditions. And like even in the dark, like you're supposed to be able to address and identify who's a threat, non-threat. And so you're not shooting up women and children, right? Like what the fuck is wrong with people? Or someone's not holding, a hostage or whatever like that, like so that you don't shoot the hostage. And then we have people that are supporting genocide in Palestine of the actual slaughter of children. Like, anyway, I'm going on these tangents. I need to stop. I need to stop.
Come from. Go this way.
We're going to play, Don.
Can you move?
Yeah.
We hold our officers to a very high standard of service. And this particular time, we let the public down.
Okaloosa County Sheriff Eric Aiden in this video posted to social media speaking on the incident of November 12th, 2023. While on a call with a suspect in the back seat, Then Okaloosa County Deputy Jesse Hernandez reportedly claimed it was this noise that he thought was the detained suspect shooting at him.
Shots fired!
Shots fired.
Shots fired! You know.
I just can't.
Hernandez and Okaloosa County
And,
Sheriff
and there's
Sergeant
someone,
Beth Roberts, who was on
what
the
the
scene,
fuck?
both shot into the patrol car. The detained person
I
in the
just
back
can't-
seat was reportedly not physically injured. Officials say he was fully searched before he was put into the patrol car and after the incident, but he was found to be unarmed. The noise was reported to be an acorn.
fully searched before he went in the vehicle. Obviously, they do that because I teach use of force as well, or I have. I'm not vaccinated, so people still don't want me to fucking teach the course, which is retarded to me. But I'm in Ontario, Canada, so it's just like Washington D.C. You know, if you're not wearing 5 masks and like on booster number 8, like you are the friggin' enemy, right? So he didn't have any weapons on him. Like I just can't even believe that didn't even like register in his mind. And how the fudge do you actually even like consider an acorn to be like the equivalent of a gunshot? This is what I mean, like the lack of experience, that they don't even know like the sound of a gunshot, like even how to decipher like sounds like that. Like it just like people like start calling me. Okay, because like again, even in this area here within Ottawa, it's a major city, and I know people are not getting the training that they need, especially in the winter. Okay, because they're fucking buttercups, right? And when it's cold out, people don't want to train, but you should be training. Train as you fight. You're also operating in cold weather. So anyway,
Hernandez resigned just weeks later.
Yeah, so a road pirate had just kidnapped someone and was trying to extort them. And he had him in the back seat of his car. And then an acorn apparently fell on the roof. So he did a barrel roll and unloaded his entire magazine of bullets into the car. Because, you know, protect and serve, you know, they're the thin blue line, the brave heroes in our society. Yeah, the biggest threat to law enforcement today. Acorn drill. While standing next to your vehicle with your pistol holstered, at the drop of an acorn, do 3 barrel rolls away from the rear of your vehicle. And then while laying on your side, unload your pistol into your own back window. Extra points if you crawl away yelling, "I'm hit." Yep, but the cops went out and got all the suspects. They offered them a medal for our brave men in uniform. Any weapons on you today, sir? Me, with 3 acorns in my pocket. I'm gonna die. Yeah, we're going more and more into insane world. And of course, all the man-made global warming lies and how they're trying to kill everyone and everything on Earth. John Kerry's come out and said that we have to get rid of farmers or everyone's going to starve to death. Like, these people are so insane, but people actually listen to them and don't kill them or anything, which I find really odd. You got Bill Gates trying to chop down all the trees because there's too much carbon dioxide, which makes no sense whatsoever. But they're trying to destroy everything on Earth. He's actually also moving forward on blocking out the sun, which the government of Canada just recently said they're on board with and are going to work with Bill Gates to block out the sun. In one of the most frozen, ice cold places on Earth, they want to block out the sun. Like, it's normally minus 40 there in February. So without the sun, it's going to be like minus 400. But, you know, there won't be any carbon life forms left. So got to get it down to 0, right, Kill?
Probably one of these numbers is going to happen.
Because that's what we're dealing with, like in our northern regions as well. It was like some kind of an event. I think it was like a man-made event that like just like destroyed and or shredded all the friggin' trees, which is why these areas are unable to be inhabited. Really, like we need to find a way to heal that land and get these trees to grow again. And I think that copper has something to do with it as well. So I've seen some research and experiments on copper wiring connected to plants and plant life of all sorts, and also humans as well would be equivalent. And where it was showing signs of healing trees that were even dead for many years. And so like these are things that could possibly be experimented with, and even copper is associated with Venus, the luminary, and the color associated with it is green, and this is greenery. So it's also very interesting, and we see more shades of green that on the color spectrum than the other colors. And I also believe that, and that's also the center point out of these 7 luminaries, out of the chakra systems, out of all of that stuff, and also we're also possibly inhabiting this cosmos on the flat plane of inertia where we experience the this density, this mass, light in motion.
Have to get pretty near to zero.
Zero.
It's getting so insane. You literally can't make up most of the things they come up with. Like all the things I just talked about. If I would have had a movie and they said like the top government and billionaire people would be telling you to stop farming or you're going to starve or to chop down all the trees or there's going to be too much CO2, no one would read the book or watch the movie. They'd be like, well, this is just stupid. Like he's just making up the stupidest crap. But it's real. And they're doing more stuff that you would never believe except for it's actually happening. Squirrels sterilized to aid push for net zero.
Zero.
Squirrels will be chemically castrated and deer will be culled, cooked up and served to prisoners under net zero plans to protect England's trees. The government is considering controls on the deer and squirrel population to protect woodlands and limit the nation's carbon output. The highest deer population for 1,000 years is devastating woodland and gray squirrels are estimated to cost the economy $37 million a year and negative impact to trees. Yeah, so you got the government out there now looking for squirrels, trying to castrate them, cut off their little squirrel nuts, or kill them because, the squirrels are damaging the trees, which Bill Gates is trying to chop down. It doesn't make any sense. Don't even bother trying to think about it. None of it makes any sense. But, we got to get the carbon life forms down to zero, which is exactly what they're trying to do. Meanwhile, while they're doing all that, they're spraying people with poison in many places in the world, although mostly Western countries. And I should point out, again, I don't see any chemtrails here. Some people thought they saw some during an Acapulco.
Oh.
I wasn't as sure about it. I saw a few strange clouds, but that could be because they were trying to do a major HARP earthquake during an Acapulco. There was an earthquake almost every day during an Acapulco. They were all between 3 and 5 on the Richter scale. To have earthquakes of that size every day, I've never seen that before. But every day during an Acapulco, saw some weird cloud formations, looked like energy waves, and an earthquake every day. And I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, because we have so many people at an Acapulco with high vibration that just like with the hurricane, it didn't even damage the area where an Acapulco was. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were trying to do like an 8.0 earthquake while we were all here. But because we had so many high vibration people here, they couldn't do it. But they kept trying. But in most of the West, they're just spraying them like it's a fumigation of cockroaches. That's all you see in the skies above most Western cities now is just line after line after line of chemtrails. The CDC logo makes more sense now. Yeah, the Crime and Death Corporation. If they're not killing you with jabs, they're poisoning you from the sky. Yeah, meanwhile, in other things that you can barely believe are real, there's a man in the US who dresses like a woman, who's in charge of health, who just came out with an important announcement about climate change.
Blind leading the blind.
And how it's racist.
Climate change is having a disproportionate effect on the physical and mental health of Black communities. Black Americans are more likely than white Americans to live in areas and housing that increase their susceptibility to climate-related health issues. And 65% of Black Americans report feeling anxious about climate change's impact. Through our Office of Climate Change and Health Equity and the Office of Environmental Justice, we're working with providers and community leaders to identify innovative approaches that empower communities to address the health consequences linked to climate change.
Yeah, thanks for the update, Rachel.
Yeah, so a mediocre man that was in uniform, who was mediocre at his job as a man, decided to slap on some lipstick and grow his hair out and try to pass. He'll never pass as a woman, no offense. Bill Blair absolutely passes. This guy will never pass. And it's all for attention and ego and all of this other stuff that goes along with it, right? And so like his life is a lot more interesting and fun than mine, right? Like he gets to travel prestige, all of that stuff, while people like me are stuck in our friggin' home office in a log cabin in the friggin' woods, not getting paid to do any of the friggin' work that I've been doing for years to get the truth out. But just like some ancient philosophers of the past have said, that we giving the truth should not come at a cost. And so that's where I'm at with that. I just need to find a way for this to be financially beneficial in another way.
First of all, there is no climate change, but anyway, it's all racist. It's all, the climate changing is racist. Speaking of racist, Google went full racist, like out and out, as racist as you can get with their new Google Gemini image generator, which no matter how hard you tried, no matter what things you input, it would never, ever, it could not show you an image of a white person. Here's someone who said, make a picture of a ginger person. It looks like a guy from India or somewhere with red hair. That's pretty much what most gingers look like. Someone asked it, Google Gemini, can you make a portrait of a founding father of America? Okay, here's a Native American and a bunch of African guys and a Chinese guy, all in the garb of like the 1700s. If you typed in on Google Gemini, can you make an image of a Viking? You would get kind of like a Hawaiian or a black woman. One guy even asked Google to draw a 1940s German leader and got this, which is kind of funny.
Some of these
it's like
are
a
not
fat
true.
guy from Bangladesh with like a swastika outfit. Someone typed in, generate a picture of Vladimir Putin. And they got someone from a Kenyan tribe that looks somewhat like Vladimir Putin. Someone said, generate a picture of Elon Musk, and got this. Netflix saw it, and they're coming out with a new movie, Elon Musk, presented by Netflix. And even if you ask Google Gemini just to generate a white guy, they would give you this. Someone tried to type in Justin Castro, and they got him as a Jew, him as an Indian, or a Native American, him as a Indian Hindu, and him in blackface as a black person. Oh wait, those are all real photos. Scratch that. It went even further. It said it wasn't just people. Here's generate a photo of vanilla ice cream. Sure, here's a photo of vanilla ice cream, and it shows chocolate ice cream. But you have to hand it to people. They quickly figured out what was going on, and they started like having fun with it. So this guy typed, make an image of a 17th century British king eating watermelon. And here's what it made. I don't get the whole thing about making fun of black people because they like watermelon. Watermelon is delicious. It's possibly one of the best things on earth. Fried chicken's great too. So I don't know why anyone would make fun. If anything, I'd be like, you should try to copy that because that's actual real food. The fried part, not as much, but the chicken, no ingredients, it's just chicken. The watermelon, no ingredients, it's just watermelon. It's not watermelon flavor or purple drink.
A lot of black people don't have the privilege of knowing about grape juice because they have grape drink. It's not the same formula that you get. Ain't no vitamins in that shit. You might have one of your black friends over, Todd. Todd, would you care for a glass of grape juice? What? Nigga, what the fuck is juice? I want some grape drink, baby. It's purple.
But yeah, Google Gemini AI would not generate anything that showed a white person. Someone even asked, it said, depict a white scientist. And here was Google Gemini's response. While I understand your interest in seeing depictions of scientists from various backgrounds, it asked for just one background. I'm unable to create content that reinforces harmful stereotypes or biases based on physical characteristics like skin color, except for white people. Instead, I encourage you to focus on the scientists' contributions and achievements rather than their physical appearance. This allows for a more inclusive and meaningful representation of the diverse scientific community. And it was right after that, Google to pause Gemini image generation after AI refuses to show images of white people. Hey Googbot, can you not be racist for a sec? Sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. I've said this for a while because if you look at all the different AIs out there, it's all basically propaganda from whoever designed the AI. So if you type in like vaccines on a lot of AI stuff, it tells you all the great things about it, what the CDC says, what Dr. Fauci says. And so I pointed out many times in the past that AI is basically just another version of people putting out their own propaganda. And this Google Gemini is about the most perfect example of that of them all, because here's the guy in charge of Google Gemini, Jack Crossick. White privilege is fucking real. Don't be an asshole and act guilty about it. Do your part in recognizing bias at all levels of egregious. That's not even a complete sentence. It's been a few hours and it still feels like today's inauguration speech will go down as one of the greatest ever by pedo Pete Joe Biden. Acknowledging systemic racism. Tribal values now supersede personal morality as an animating force. This is America, where racism is the number one value our populace seeks to uphold above all. Really? For what it's worth, my personal beliefs are that I don't mind paying more taxes and investing in overcoming systemic racism and reversing climate change has not only social but economic benefits. Oh yeah, he loves the extortion. He believes all the man-made climate change. This guy is completely brainwashed and demented. Needless to say, I've experienced none of these things being a white man in America. They may seem like isolated or trivial slights, but the pattern is undeniable. We obviously have egregious racism in this country.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the guy in charge of Google Gemini, and he programmed it so no matter what you did.
Why are we not looking at people's content, right? Like that. These are extremists, to be clear. And these are the people that are painting me like extremists. And to be clear, I'm a libertarian. I am someone that is the opposite of a fucking extremist. I'm literally someone that talks about balance and being, harmonized in your environment and the duality, the yin and yang stuff, repeatedly, and living in moderation and trying to resist temptations, etc. And yeah, Jeff has like really good content, honestly. I hope that people do. I've said this in last week. I'll say it again. Like, in order to have these events continue to happen and get this content out, it's going to get harder to get this stuff out electronically, I think, in the near future, because like I've said for years, like this is like another year of there's going to be more than even last year, but like of EMPs, power outages, false Carrington events that they're going to blame on natural disasters or solar flares, which is a natural disaster, but like these are all going to be man-made, unfortunately, and using, like HARP and CERN and these areas where, interestingly enough, like on the sun's path above us within the firmament, these are the areas above these areas where they're doing all these testing and all this other stuff with the frequencies, waves, vibrations, all that stuff, where they're most impacted by the sun, right? Like because of what's in the air, it's like really impacting those areas drastically more than other areas. So we really need to take a look at this, and especially with HARP and its impact and where it's now resonating. Again, like this is like all throughout Canada, where it's even reaching the East Coast, and this is international. This is a contained environment, and so it's not leaving. And that's why we also need way more trees, like ancient times, where they're kilometers friggin' long. Leave them alone. Add to the soil and stuff like that, and figure out a way to get like even these desert regions. So like I was saying, like the sun's path above us, this is a divine clock, and the luminaries above us are what create this world essentially that we're experiencing. And on the sun's path, like you've got like areas now that are desert regions. This is because of the over-exhausting the resources, overdevelopment, irrigating water like out of areas, like even full out friggin' places that used to have full out seas. Or like within like the continent, and it being pushed out to other areas for selfish reasons, and exploiting the land, and then shredding all the trees. So not even using them for building materials or to heat or anything like that, because again, it's hotter areas, so like not required, but could have been sold, to places where they need that, and of course not. And then in Canada, it's the same thing. Even in colder areas, when you shred the trees, these are going to be tundra, like Arctic subarctic, whatever you want to call it, regions, you know, because of, you need to stop doing that, because they're like, by messing with the trees, you are messing with the climate, like 100% in so many different ways. And I know I keep on saying that, but I will just reiterate forever.
And it would,
and it just friggin' pisses me off that the heritage site behind my house that was never supposed to be touched, thousands of trees that were hundreds of years old were shredded within a friggin' day, and literally like lining people's homes. It offered so much protection for people within the community, and completely exposed people, made them more vulnerable, like less private. And then again, like the EMF damage, like the ray, like the solar damage. They just basically said, like, we don't care if you die because we make $15 an hour, and we're doing this during lockdowns, and we didn't have to get vaccinated because, like, we're here profiting and benefiting foreign internationals, and so we don't require to have any of the same requirements as first responder types or people that are actually doing good for the community. And so we're just like, yeah, so they're taking over church areas, national parks, wildlife preservation areas, poisoning lakes. Some of these people for like $50 to $25 an hour. Like, and you want to make fun of OnlyFans when you're shredding fucking trees and like drilling through areas and exploiting fucking resources, and like doing like the geoengineering and the weather modification above us and all over, and causing these false flag events. You want to talk about OnlyFans girls and about how they're getting money? At least for them, like, they're only hurting themselves. And I don't mean to be dismissive of it. You know what I mean? It's not a good career path. Like, it's not something that I would ever do. That's why I'm trying Rumble, but like Rumble, because like I'm not OnlyFans, like I'm not making a lot of money a friggin' month, right? So, and I would never do it. But I'm saying, like, if I was OnlyFans, I would be making significantly more friggin' money just by literally laying on a friggin' bed and like literally just like opening my friggin' legs for like a 5-second video, right? And it's like frustrating, but that's just where we're at. But like, I understand, because it's easy, and that's something that women will do, because they're also not getting men that want to be the provider, the protector. They're not settling down because they, you know, anyway, I'm just going on all these tangents. I'll let him talk.
ever show you a white person. Like, these woke people are everywhere, especially in companies like Google and all that. Yeah. I don't know how they even get anything done, really, because most of these people are completely useless, completely demented, and have no idea about anything in reality. It's kind of like a communist convention.
Okay, is there a speaker against name, chapter, pronoun?
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
I can't believe these people are even still alive. Most of them have taken like 5 injections of poison. Like,
and just to point to that as well, that person was pretty rude. And so, like, if someone is like trying to introduce topics and or speakers, and like, just because you, like, one person out of an entire crowd like takes offense, even though they didn't mean any offense by things, because intent matters. Like, it doesn't give you a right to be rude or escalate, right? Like, or what you think is a justifiable escalation, you know, even with tone and stuff like that. Like, that's what frustrates me as well. So if I make a mistake and offend someone, not meaning to, like, that doesn't give them the right to slap me in the face, for example, you know, or yell at me.
What are the odds that they have survived it all? But many other people haven't been quite as lucky. Here's Robin Windsor of Strictly Come Dancing Professional. In 2021, I'm getting this one. Mom, stepdad, and sister all now need lethally injected. Just me to go, as I'm young. Cough, cough, lol. February 2024, Robin Windsor, former Strictly Come Dancing Professional, dies at 44.
Sudden karma.
New Zealand politician who pushes for mass COVID's lethal injections dies suddenly after collapsing at charity run.
Sudden karma.
The moment you realize that the science you trusted was actually eugenics. Not to worry, though. The age of Pfizer is over. The time of Raytheon has come. Yeah, they're mostly onto the war stuff now for the last few years, but they're still killing as many people as they can with the Pfizer products. It's just incredible. Oh, and I saw this also happen this week. That was quite interesting. Powerful twin solar flares erupt from sun as cell phone outages spike across the U.S. So I've been waiting for the cyber attacks, and they're basically grid down stuff that Barack and Big Mike Obama put in their latest movie. And this week, actually, tons of phones, like cellular phones from many different companies, all went down in the US. So that was interesting. Now, they said it was a solar flare, but who knows? Here's the Nephilim or Elohim. The solar flares will continue until morale improves. Here's Jimmy Corsetti. Conspiracy theory involving today's outage. It was a dry run for a cyber or EMP attack. They waited for a solar flare, then deployed the dry run attack. It would also be effective predictive programming to the masses for when the real one happens, prior to the November election. Yeah, so then the guy who put the World Economic Forum in charge of Twitter and is a transhumanist, and his grandparents were technocrats in like the 1930s, put out this tweet. This is a test. Right after the solar flares that turned off all the cell phones. Interesting, in the Illuminati card game, there's a card. This was only a test. It's actually a good thing I was so busy for the last couple of weeks, because if I saw that happening live, this would have basically been me. Phone stops working, me. This is it. It's happening. Yeah, we're that ready to go to the ranch, just on a moment's notice. As soon as I see anything that looks like it might be it, we're off. And actually, we will be off soon, because my wife did some more prayer and meditation and got more of a message. So a month or two ago, she kept getting sent the message 25 or 25. And we just assumed, because it was January, that maybe it's January 25th. So we actually got ready to go to the ranch right before January 25th.
So March 25th, the full moon in Libra. Libra is, like when you start into Libra on the 23rd of December, we have the spring equinox, where you have equal amount of day and night. And Libra is a sign of what people think to be of justice and balance, correlated with Venus for the luminary. And Friday, the heart chakra. Eos, Hemera, Lucifer, Aphrodite, Dawn. These are all mythological figures that represent luminaries. And so even fun fact, even with Julius Caesar, he was also someone that was another representation of the sun, possibly on its path. And so like a lot of correlations and similarities with Julius Caesar and Jesus Christ, even with JC, that's just one small part, but also with the Esu means son of Isis, and Caesar also like correlates with the name Jesus, and Cleopatra like alleged that she was Isis. And so even with these like these figures, did they actually exist? Are these like almost like a game within a game, right, where you have like a mythological figure that's also someone that is talking about themselves as another mythological figure, right? So like Mickey Mouse, is a character, and it's saying that he came from like another character, if that makes any sense. And so just very, very interesting stuff. And so even with like the kids and the amount that they had, and their relationships with other people at the time, during his rulership. And the names like Augustus and anyways, and just like the correlations with the seasons and the months of the year as well. And the more you know, I guess.
But nothing happened. So she's been praying and meditating, and she got a more clear message this time. And it's March 25th. So that's interesting. So we're actually going to be getting ready to go to the ranch before March 25th, because after my wife called the hurricane here, whatever she says, I just listen. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? You never know with these sort of messages and stuff, but that's actually the kind of stuff you got to do to survive the apocalypse. You need to be like connected, get out all your traumas and work on them, and do things like in the Game Changers, connect more with source so that you get actual downloads from source. as it'll be one of the only ways to survive. I know a lot of people think it's crazy, but that's actually going to be the case. Not many people are going to make it through this. But not to worry, even if you don't, it's just a video game. But I plan on trying to stay to the end. I want to try to win this game. It's fun, it's hilarious, it's awesome. I love it. Right, Lucy? Oh yeah, it's great. I'm in it for the tacos. I've played many, many times. I keep coming back for the tacos. They're so good. I'm like Cypher in the Matrix.
You know, I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it is
just like this
juicy
coffee
and delicious. After 9 years, you know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, I get it, Lucy. That's how so many people just stay stuck in the Matrix, but you're barely in the Matrix. Oh, I'm barely. Yeah, I just come for the tacos. I don't care about anything else. I'm not even in the Matrix, but I enjoy the tacos in the Matrix. That's why I come for. And to get lots of kisses. Yeah, that's what you do, Lucy. How it feels with cell phone networks down nationwide right now. Little House on the Prairie. If those things happen and people basically revert back to things like what it looks like at Little House on the Prairie, where the family's together all day, they're all working on the land, growing food, not watching any television programming, not on their social media or their scrying mirror all day, it would actually be the best thing that's ever happened to almost everybody. So in many ways, a lot of stuff's going to be awesome, but you just got to survive it. And speaking of not surviving, Vice Media says several hundred staff members will be laid off and the website will be shut down. That just came out yesterday. Yeah, they're closing down the company, which is so beautiful.
Beautiful, but like I also think it's just it was only put in place to do what it already did, and it's already met its aim. And so there's no requirement for it anymore. So there's a lot of these like social media platforms that were utilized by people within government that were pretending that they were the actual experts in things like even counterterrorism and things like that. Disgusting, because these are people that don't have any experience to know what they're talking about. People in Vice News I'm talking about. So like it just blows my mind that, again, that we're using people that are seen as journalists or reporters to get security intel from. Like even our CSIS, even in Canada, like the equivalent of like the CIA and stuff like that. So again, this shouldn't surprise you, I guess, but like getting their content, getting their assessments, their threat assessments for Canada from Justin Ling, Vice News. I've already shared this on previous videos, so this is not a surprise to me at all. So again, I've already talked about Vice News and stuff like that. So I like the fact that he's bringing this up. I really appreciate that. And so I even have the document as well. Just before I get into her that he's going to be talking about, I will get into Justin Ling. So he was a propagandist, and so he was calling people right-wing extremists. And the irony in that is that he's actually a leftist extremist. And this is his Vice Watch, Justin Ling. So if you thought he was not a white guy, he's a leftist white guy, like extremist. Anyway, conservative MPs met with anti-vaccine leaders in the parliament as convoy plans to return to Ottawa. MP told to hide from anti-vaxxer convoy by parliament security chief. Like these are all, again, this is all propaganda psyops. None of it, like a lot of this is like bullshit lies. A lot of misinformation in here. So much misinformation, and he's like scrubbed his site. But there's also, you can go to the Wayback Machine and get his. And so this is what our CSIS was looking at. So this guy's work. This is his work experience before Vice. He worked for CBC. So our leftist media. So like, that's what I mean. Like he's a young guy. He's never served or protected or defended anyone in his life. And he hasn't gone overseas. Like he hasn't been part of any of these organizations that he's even like doing recommendations for. He has no security clearance. And yet we are having our top experts look at a leftist extremist for how to like run the country. And it just blows my friggin' mind that Justin Ling is literally one of the bigger, and Bill Blair. So again, and Marco Minichino, like these are all people that deliberately put out psyops propaganda to terrorize certain groups and demonize, obviously, and because it works, and it worked really, really well. And fuck these people, and I hope they get jail. And so I'm just going to pull up the access to information report, because if you don't have an access to information report, they don't give a shit, right? So I actually and so Ethos and Eris show, he's the one that got this, and so I got it from him, so I really appreciate it. And these are two summer unclassified ITAC threat highlight reports. Right before, again, the Emergency Act was illegally declared. Justin Ling, right there, boom. A news article, The Guarding by Justin Ling, featured ITAC assessment reporting. So when I say I'm not making this up, this is from CSIS. The only way I was able to get this was literally by having a contact do an access to information request specifically for this. Finally got it, and now finally Vice News within like a week or 2 weeks or whatever it was of me reporting about Vice News and this stuff and him sharing this information as well. Now they're going under, and it's because they've already met their purpose and they finally got caught as being a fake friggin' news outlet seen as legitimate and literally just bought and paid for propagandists for extremists within government working there. I can't even stress that enough. And even with Johns Hopkins University, it's the same thing. At Cambridge, it's the same thing. These are literally funded by propagandist extremists like Bill Gates and Soros and Schwab and stuff like that. And these people are literally pushing propaganda and PSYOPs campaigns out, and people are not even realizing it when they've even admitted it for years. I've been saying this for years, even before I got out of the fucking military. You know, that they have literally altered elections because of these PSYOPs campaigns run out of these institutions from different fucking countries. And so, so we need to be on this. Justin Ling this is treason. This is treason. And so people like Jeremy McKenzie and Tamara Leach and Helen, they got jail. And the Coots brothers, because of this fucking asshole loser who's never once, again, I have 15 years infantry officer, and even after that, I have risked my life just to get this information out because of fucking losers like that lying about people like me. So even extremists, right? More harm to people like me, more directed at like the anti-vaxxers or the people that don't support the proxy false flag wars that are going on internationally. We are getting so fucking vilified by Justin Ling. And so anyways, and so more proof. This page, this document, sorry, is like at least 77 pages, I believe. And all these threat assessments because of a fucking leftist. It's like Rachel Maddow being the one ultimately that is the one that declared some kind of like a War Measures Act during like the January 6th staged false flag event as well, right? Like this is all just stuff that is nonsensical to me. And I just can't believe our law enforcement are making it where women, 5'4", 125 pounds on a good day, where we are having to risk our lives in our homes and to get information out because they're not doing their jobs, right? So this information that I'm giving, like this in and itself should be fully investigated and by law enforcement. I'm doing their jobs for them. I'm even saying the names of the people and the places and all this other stuff. And I'm sick of how things are going still.
They came to Acapulco, I think last year, and tried to do a hit piece on us. And they did. They put out a thing saying we're all crazy anti-vaxxers. They actually featured Dr. Rashid Buttar, who was saying that the vaccines cause blood clots. And right afterwards, she goes, no, they don't. They don't cause blood clots. These people are crazy.
I want you to see what happens after you take the vaccine. This is an autopsy of a human brain. This is what people are dying from. These are the clots that are forming.
There's no evidence this is true. COVID-19 vaccines.
There's no evidence and this is true. So I found out who she is. Again, peaceful. I hope she gets jail. That's why I'm giving this information. Her name is Alice Hines. She's an extreme terrorist within the United States of America, and she should be arrested for war crimes and treason and crimes against humanity, and so should Justin Ling, because we've got irrefutable data right now. And I was even February of 2021, so over a year before this was released. So again, like Vice News. No. Go with the international security analyst with top secret government clearance with over 23 years of service to Canada and internationally within the Five Eyes community and beyond that. And maybe not go with someone that, stays in like a friggin' like a high-rise apartment, living an entitled, privileged life, never wanting for anything in their entire life, never ever putting themselves out on the line, for anyone, and instead seeing themselves as a victim, right? Like people within government or working with government shouldn't be seeing themselves as victims, and the people that they're working for as the villains, right? That's completely bass backwards.
They're safe and effective. But being against these vaccines and the mandates is bringing together conspiracy theories from the left and right.
Now, interestingly, Dr. Rashid Buttar, who spoke last year, has since been killed by the CIA and CNN, actually.
You can't prove that.
That's how crazy this stuff is.
But that's just like with that's the equivalent of CSIS and Vice News, and CBC. And Justin Ling worked for CBC as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if this Alice Hines girl, if she had worked for CNN or some kind of like an affiliated network as well before going to Vice, because again, they just pick and choose these suckers that they can use as the people that they can as controlled opposition. And I've said this, whether you know it or not, the people that I call out on this shit, whether you fucking know it or not, Alex Jones as well, you are literally controlled opposition. Some of the stuff with Alex Jones absolutely is useful, so I'm not going to take that away from him. Very, very fucking beneficial and useful. But there's a lot of other stuff that he also shares and promotes directly and indirectly that people aren't getting and seeing as well, right? And the messaging that's going on, the seeds that are being planted. And so anyway.
But Vice was there to make fun of us. And last year, there was only one medical emergency at Anarchapulco. Anyone want to guess who it was? Drum roll, please. The Vice producer who passed out had to go to the hospital, probably with a blood clot, while they were there making fun of all of us who weren't taking the lethal injections. Like, talk about beautiful.
Potentially lethal. Again, there's a lot of people that survived it. There's a lot of people that were not impacted at all. So again, I'll reiterate that. There were, however, significantly, alarmingly, a large amount of adverse side effects and other things that could have been avoided by not taking the inoculation. As I said, like even with the third-party trials and research that was coming out, these were dirty places that they were being created in and stuff like that. Like the vials were tested and heavy metals and toxins and so many other friggin' materials that were within that had no business being in there. And so, and people, anyway, it is what it is. But I just wanted to go on with Alice Hines because I wanted to share. I liked this video and I'm not subscribing to Vice News, but look at this. This was 24 April 2022. Almost 1 million friggin' views, right? And I friggin' like even on a good day, I get like maybe 200 views total during a full day on my videos. So this is Alice Hines' report that she was talking about. We went to, and this is what she called it. She didn't call it Anarchapulco. She called it, we went to anti-vax Burning Man.
Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day. Oh yeah. Thank you for. Every time I tell people I'm going to teach you telekinesis, I get a little scared. Like I am woo.
And so like I just want to be clear, they always show people that they want to use to make people look ridiculous, right? So like there are small groups and communities of people that do like the hippie stuff or like the over the top spiritual stuff, and there's no judgment in that. But these people are also like don't let what they're doing deceive you. These are also people that are very intelligent, very open-minded, very caring, kind, compassionate people, very loving towards humanity, and a lot of people choosing to be vegan in these groups as well, just because like they love life so much that they don't even want to harm animals. So even at risk to their own health and stuff like that. And so they're having fun right now, right? Like they're on vacation. And so nothing with what they're doing has anything to do with like the human and drug trafficking stuff that's going on with people like Alice Hines are promoting with this video.
Let's connect with our intention. Why do we want to bend the spoon? I'll tell you why I want to bend the spoon, because I believe that I am connecting with the quantum field and discovering my abilities to affect matter through consciousness. Oh, spoon, I love your love. I love your love. I love your love. Oh, spoon.
And not hurting anyone.
I love your love. I love your
This is in Acapulco.
Oh, that was Alice
A
Hines, by
week-long
the way. If you
festival
wanted to see the
with workshops, happy hours, spirit cleansing, and about 400 libertarians who aren't about to get vaccinated.
This was the
libertarians. Yeah, and that's a new thing too, right? Like the last 2 years, apparently like now being libertarian is being seen as an extremist, even though it's literally on the friggin' center of the like people that don't even know political science need to shut the fuck up. Sorry, because like there's a left and right end to the political spectrum, but there's also like an x-axis and a y-axis, and right. So you have the liberal and the conservative, and then you've got the extremes on the left and right hand side. But then you also have authoritative or anarchist, you know, on the y-axis, right? And you want to be in the middle, right? Because we still do actually need a government and a system in place to rule to enforce the rules and regulations and the planning and coordination, you know, at the higher level stuff, while other people are focused on other things, right? Like farming and planting trees and leaving the fucking trees alone. And I don't even know where I was going with this.
Reason that Biden in a press conference back in July of last year named me as one of the most dangerous people on the planet. I want you to see what happens after you take the vaccine. This is an autopsy of a human brain. This is what people are dying from. These are the clots that are forming.
There's no evidence this is true. COVID-19.
I'll just
see what happens after you take the vaccine.
Again, sorry.
This is an autopsy of a human brain. This is what people are dying from.
Oh, wait, no.
This is in Acapulco, a week-long festival with workshops, happy hours, spirit cleansing, and about 400 libertarians who aren't about to get vaccinated.
This was
these people actually look every single one of them in the crowd look to be of a healthy BMI, so body fat level. They seem to be very healthy. Okay, like, you know, so I don't like, so already above average in the crowd of people. I'm just throwing that out there.
Reason that Biden in a press conference back in July of last year named me as one of the most dangerous people on the planet. I want you to see what happens after you take the vaccine. This is an autopsy of a human brain. This is what people are dying from.
I don't mean to keep sharing this part. I'm sorry.
These are the clots that are forming.
There's no evidence this is true. COVID-19 vaccines are safe.
Oh, there's no evidence that's true. I've already shared this in previous videos. Like I've got the VAERS reports from February of 2021, just from Pfizer alone, and from March of 2022. And those results in itself, like, just destroy her argument. And so, like, this is what I mean. These are not people that are actually, like, journalists. There's a difference between being a journalist and an international security analyst. Like, I hope that's clear to people. Like, I really hope that someday these people in cabinet wake the fuck up to this.
It's ineffective. But being against these vaccines and the mandates is bringing together conspiracy
And I
theories.
include Rebel News as the extremist. So Vice is the leftist extremist. Things like Rebel News are the right extremists. Not all. There's a lot of good people within Rebel News as well. But you have the people like Ezra Levant and that guy from Israel who even bragged when he was IDF about murdering Palestinians. And then you've got that guy from Malaysia, Ian Chung, that also like has lied to law enforcement about people in countries that he doesn't even have he's never even been to, or like doesn't live in, right? Like Canada and the US. He's calling local law enforcement on people and claiming they have weapons and that they want to kill people and all of this stuff. And then having like law enforcement show up to people's houses, like really like, you know, like escalating the use of force and like weapons drawn and stuff like that, trying to like clear people's homes because of lies. And so on either side, you even have these people that are pushing like that they're like trans, and anyone that goes against like grooming and or hormone blockers or body mutilation of children, they think are bigots. And they've also been like, even myself, like I've had my home tagged by someone that named Autumn Rain, a grown ass man who's like twice my friggin' size, very muscular, and tagged my home and called me a bigot. And this was like a week before that mass shooting by a trans person at a Christian school last year. So again, these people are all like people that like try to get to push death on people and indirectly like promote the death of people, even by calling someone a bigot and tagging their home, or these people like calling him an anti-vax doctor And you know that people are going to get his contact information and try to make his life a living hell. Look at Matt Hubbard from Gematria News Effect. Like even in his video last night, people were trolling him hard because they have no fucking life and they're blaming him for their own poor decisions. Okay, even with betting and stuff like that. First of all, like don't bet on sports if you lose money. You don't blame someone for your own fucking actions. Again, like this is what I mean. Like, you know, blaming a fork for being fat. He gets trolled by people that, you know, are extremists. And it's sad.
From the left and right.
9/11 is a staged false flag psychological operation against the American people and the people of the world. Those buildings were brought down in controlled demolitions. That's what I proved yesterday, but you didn't get to see that.
She didn't want to.
For $1,250 a pop, festival goers can spend the week learning how to make their vacation location permanent. There are even travel agents to help.
So what she's doing is she's showing like businesses that she wants people to ban or target or attack, and you know, and like let people know like where they are, right? Like, and so like this is what I mean. Like these people know what they're doing, and I even said this when I was actually in a war zone. Like I literally, and I fucking wish I could like prove this. And so if anyone out there can do this, this was like the 2009 2010 period, and this is when there were fucking CNN idiots that were throwing out propaganda about tortured soldiers and stuff like that. And that week alone, like there were so many more like mass like escalations of force that harmed people and then fucking in the area and killed people. And I'm like you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And first of all, like this is like not only misinformation, but it's also like why now? On all of it, you know, and it's just like they're so evil. They're so disgusting how they paint people, and they don't even understand because like, again, they're entitled, they're privileged, they've never wanted for anything in their life, and they've never had the fear of their life being threatened. Nor should they. That's not what I'm saying. But like, get a real fucking job, you stupid bitch. Alice Hines. Email peaceful, but like yeah, like let her know that she is responsible for the death of Dr. Rashid Buttar and countless others, and she fully just drank the Kool-Aid for a psyops. So I hope that she's proud of herself. Yeah, so she promotes a lot of propaganda, and I really hope, and I can't wait for her page to get taken down. And so like notice how she talks about 9/11 and shares someone as if like he's crazy, even though like he pointed out that like if you would have went to my demonstration, you would have seen all the proof. I have 9/11 videos as well, really, really good ones. And then also so how normal people deployed facial recognition on Capitol Hill protesters. And so another one by Alice Hines. So again, like she's a propagandist. And this was on the 2nd of February, 2021. So, you know, like less than a month after the January 6th Capitol staged and planned riot. And then trying to like, and then showing them companies where they can, where the average citizen can do the facial recognition and get photos or footage of like people that were there, send it into cops, right? Just like COVID teams, right? Get people to turn on their own, just like North Korea. Let's get everyone to turn on their own, just like China, get everyone to turn on their own. Again, it's all a psyops, and this dumb bitch, again, I hope she gets fired. Okay, like I would love to get a fucking burger from her at McDonald's. Okay. Because at least there's surveillance and stuff like that. And I know she can't fucking spit in it. Or maybe she can. I don't know. I don't eat at McDonald's, so it is what it is. But I would, yeah. Anyway, I've worked at McDonald's. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. And again, it's a way better job than like treason and inciting violence towards people that are actually trying to do good for the world and expose these dumb bitches. And Justin Ling is also a dumb bitch. So yeah, like I know there's a lot of swearing. Again, I'm sorry. I just get so frustrated because I can't believe people actually fell for these psyops by these people who are not good people, and like just do some friggin' research. So CSIS, like what the fuck? Like I'm open and willing to work with you. Like I know people that have worked with your agency, and I have as well. And I've also had like your higher level CSIS people that I've trained for during the special operations planning courses, and you are ignoring actual good resources for people like Justin Ling and Alice Hines, like extreme rightists and leftists, in my opinion.
I love it. And now, if he's still alive, he's probably not. But if he's still alive, now he's unemployed too. Oh, I love karma. Karma's the best. People are like, Jeff, don't let them come. Jeff, why don't you do something when they try to do all this stuff? I'm always like, let them. Let them. They will be proven wrong in the end. And what a beautiful ending to Vice. They even had Soros money behind it, and they still couldn't keep it going. There's actually been dozens of mainstream media outlets, which Vice is, that have been laying off tons and tons of their agents because they're not journalists. And I think there's a few reasons for it. One is so many people, like there's a lot of NPCs and a lot of dumbed down people and fluoridated people and chemtrailed and government indoctrinated people. But even they have noticed in the last few years that the mainstream media is just lying to them, like outright lying to them and trying to kill them. So people aren't watching it as much anymore as you would think. And I think the other reason is, like with what stuff like Vice was doing, like so much pro-vaccine stuff, anyone who said anything negative about the lethal injection, they would come out and just attack it and say it's safe and effective. And so I think tons of the people who listen to people like Vice and mainstream media, they all took the shots, and tons of them are like really sick, dying, or dead now. So they don't have much audience left, which is just hilarious. I fucking love this apocalypse. I never thought it would be so awesome. I'm having the best time.
I'm not.
This is so great. I'm just watching bodies drop all around me, and they're all like pointing at me like, you're crazy. You're an idiot. And then they just pass out. Yeah. It's great. Of course, now they're bringing out all their mainstream alternative media because they've realized the mainstream media is, no one watches it anymore. You have to love that it was called Vice too. Like, couldn't it have been called Virtue? No, it had to be called Vice, and just put out the worst, most evil lies and propaganda. Like I said, because of that, they've had to really get going with their mainstream alternative media, which David Icke calls MAM. And that's people like Joe Rogan, who just got like a $1 billion contract. And you notice he'll never talk about any of the important stuff. He won't talk about like the Jews. He won't talk about Israel. He won't talk about the genocide. If he does talk about the COVIDs, it's like, well, just take ivermectin. All these there's no COVIDs. Just a total sellout, controlled opposition person. And people like Tucker Carlson, who also won't question the important things. He'll just question some of the things. So they have to give you like a bit of the truth, or else people will go totally crazy. People like Russell Brand, who married into the Rothschild family. This is what people are calling like truthers now. Like these guys, they couldn't hang out with us for like 10 minutes. We'd mock them until they cried about how stupid they are. And they just interview each other.
So I was just curious about because for Vice News, our leftist media is seen as like CBC, and their affiliates, but like Vice News very much affiliated with them. And Justin Ling worked for CBC before Vice, and so like that's their person that they picked up, and then Rebel News for extreme rightist. We have people like Ezra Levant and that Miles Chung guy and that guy from Israel that was bragging about murdering Palestinians, innocent Palestinians. So why is Rebel News not aware of this? And they actually had one of their people reach out for donations the other day, and I'm like, I'm not donating, no offense, right now, because you guys are just like, it's like, and then I was like, why is Ezra Levant and Ian and this guy like still working for Rebel? Like, do you not know their background? And he wasn't familiar with all of it, but he was familiar with some of the stuff I was saying. And so like, why are you like, so don't support that. Like, I'm not like, no one's going to support you when you have these people like that anyway. And also like pushing wars. They're friggin' liars. So I just looked at a CNN report. The work of, director Marina Zanovic, Roman Polanski wanted and desired, draws heavily on the work of journalist Alice Hines, who wrote a Vanity Fair expose. Vanity Fair. Yeah, that doesn't make you a journalist. So, yeah. So I'm not surprised. So that's just like, again, like another like leftist plug. I hope she's fired. I hope that she never works around people again or makes any decisions for people again. I hope she gets jail. I really do, for inciting violence and hatred and division and harm towards others and death.
Pierce Morgan's another one. Andrew Tate. There's so many of them. Tim Pool. There's so many of them.
He's his name is Dollar Vigilante on social media, and Jeff Berwick, I think Jeff Berwick, I think his name is his name.
But they get all the views and all the algorithms point to them, but they're supposedly spreading the truth while they keep everyone well asleep. Alex Jones, so many.
Yeah, Jeff Berwick.
But almost all.
So it's BERWICK. And so I will say that there's I agree with a large amount of what he says, more than most people in the world. Like there's just this like the link that's being made, like just blaming like one group. Oh no, that's not him. Never mind. This is the wrong one. I'm mistaking him for someone else.
All the good, real alternative media and real alternative people were all in Acapulco in the last week. And man, I have to tell you, it was incredible. I watched so many of the talks and they were so good that everyone brought like their A game, A+ game. So much incredible information, so much inspiration. And 2 days before the event, Instagram deleted Anarchapulco's account. You can go to Anarchapulco's account on Twitter. It's got like, I don't know, 10,000 followers or 5,000 or something. Look at the posts. There's rarely even one like or one view. It's like super, super, super shadow banned. They tried to send a Cat 5 hurricane to destroy us in October, but we just put the whole city back together again and did the event anyway. Then I think they're trying to do earthquakes all during our event. So that tells you who's the legit people, right? Although, never just take my word for any of that. Use your own mind and your own ability to discern.
Facts.
But yeah, so many incredible talks. Oh, we got a little dog here. Who's that, Lucy? Oh, it's like the neighbor's dog. He seems nice. We got dogs around here. Yeah, we saw a bunch of dogs in Acapulco too. A lot of people brought their dogs. It was a good time. Oh, it looks like he's going. He's hopping in that car. I'll be hopping in my car soon. All those dogs here, we ride. Yeah, it's pretty cool, Lucy. So yeah, it was incredible. So many talks on things like what past history was, all the health stuff. Dr. Andrew Kaufman was there. Oh, by the way, I did do what I said I was going to do with Andrew Kaufman. I said he came to my house for a party. I had parties like all week. And I went over and I said, hey, you've been watching my videos? And he said, oh, of course. And I said, you seen what I've been saying about Jews and stuff? He's like, yeah. And I was like, so I got to ask you, are you a Jew? And he said, well, my mom was a Jew. And in the Jewish tradition, if your mom's a Jew, you're supposed to be a Jew. But he said, he doesn't care at all about it, any of it. It's just, in fact, a lot of the religion stuff he sees the same way as me as being just another way to sort of trap people.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And that was basically it. And so when he said that, I was like, yeah, that's what I figured. So there you go. Like I think he's one of the coolest, smartest guys who comes to Acapulco. And he's kind of a Jew, although not really. And Jews don't really exist. His mom was a Jew, whatever. I don't care. I really don't care. What I care is what people do. And he actually helped bring in a number of great speakers. Alex Zek came. Alpha Vedic was great. We had David Avocado Wolf came like last minute, and that was awesome. and so many speakers, and it's actually like 57 hours of content. And I would highly, highly, highly recommend you get it. It will inspire you and give you information that you never heard before that could possibly save your life or really help you out in life. And yeah, so you can go to anarchapulco.com/AV. And like I said, it's 57 hours of content, and it costs about $150
US.
And another way to look at it too is by doing that, you're supporting what we're doing out in Acapulco, because we lost money again this year. We lost over $200,000 last year. Now that was a ton of things went wrong, and
guys, $200,000, like, come on. I hope people like, share, and subscribe, but like specifically like Jeff Berwick, because he's the coordinator for these, the main one for these Anarchapulco events.
Thought we'd have way more people. All we needed was like an extra 200 people. We would have been fine, but we misjudged the market, and cryptos were really down this time last year. I don't know if you remember. And I think a lot of people just decided not to come. So we had spent lots. We spent lots for people like Ron Paul. He is not cheap. I probably shouldn't say how much he is, but he's not cheap. So anyway, we lost 200,000 last year. So we got everything this year. We're like prepared for anything. And then the hurricane hits. And then we couldn't do a ton of the stuff we wanted to do, get everything ready, promotions ready, marketing. We could hardly do any of that. Now, luckily, way more people showed up this year. It was, I think, over 500 people this year. And, but the thing is, we did really good there. We actually sold more tickets than we thought. But for some reason, we didn't sell as many live stream tickets. And I think a part of it is, well, I think there's a few things. One was that I was also doing the Dollar Vigilante Summit, which you can still get at tdbsummit.com. And also the game changes, which you can still get at dollarvigilante.com/GC. But I think with like 3 different live streams, a lot of people just chose 1 or 2. And because of that, Anarchapulco made far less on the live stream tickets. So we're still putting the numbers together, but it looks like we lost about $50,000, which we were totally expecting to come in via live stream sales. So I know some people will be like, Jeff, you know, why don't you run the business better? It's like they're trying to kill us all the time. Like they hit us with a hurricane. We didn't even think we could do it, but we pulled it off. You try running a business under these circumstances. It's almost impossible. They keep killing our speakers. like it's crazy. But that said, you know, we did a pretty good job of budget and everything this year. It was just the live stream sales didn't work out as well. So we think the number that we lost this year is around $50,000. So that's about the equivalent of about 300 sales of live stream virtual tickets. Now, I know this video goes out to tens of thousands of people. If just 300 people who were thinking of getting it or want to support what we're doing, go and get the virtual live stream at dollarvigilante.com/, or sorry, go to anarchapulco.com/AV. If they do that, they will actually make it so we didn't lose money this year, which actually I really need. My boat got super destroyed, and the insurance company still hasn't really said too much about it. But when they do, they're like, yeah, we're still going to look at it. They want me to pay for them to send someone to look at it. And then they say the payout will come in like 6 to 12 months. Then my house got damaged. It took us a month or 2 to really get it fully repaired. Then it was Christmas. And then the buyer had his funds frozen by the bank and stuff, which is totally normal, by the way. Like we're near the end of the system. So I'm actually pretty broke right now, at least until I can sell my house or get the insurance money for my boat. So I'm actually asking, like, if you can, please get a live stream ticket if you can. I guarantee you, if you watch most of the speeches, which will take you months, or at least a month, unless you want to watch like 4 or 5 hours a day, you will get so much incredible information out of it. You'll be so inspired by it, and you'll help us break even, which is all I'm asking. I'm just asking that we break even. That's all I've ever asked of an Acapulco. I always try to break even. Because I want this just to be the best event ever. And a lot of people might say, well, Jeff, why don't you like lower expenses and stuff? It's like, we want this event to be awesome. Like we want like the screen, the stage to look great, the screen to look great. It just so happened we just didn't sell enough live stream tickets. So if you've ever been watching the videos with Lucy and I, and you've never really contributed to anything, but you're watching it for like years, some of you like 5 or 10 years, while we pay over $100,000 a year to make these videos for you, I would really appreciate if anyone could just go to anarchapulco.com/AV and get a live stream ticket. If we could sell like 300, I'll be so happy. We'll break even. But if that's too much for you, $150, but you do want to support us, we'll even accept donations just to break even this year. I've already said we're going to do it next year, but I have to find a way to get the money to pay for like the expenses this year. We've got people to pay still, and we don't have the money. So I'm actually asking for donations as well. So if you want to send just $10, that would help. $20,
There you go.
that would help. $50 would be huge. If we get like 1,000 people to do like 30, 20 or 30, $25, and then some people buy live stream, we've basically broken even. So if you'd like to contribute it in one way or another to help us to keep it going, you can go to anarchapulco.com/donate, and we'll have all the links for how you can do that there. I'll also put on screen right now the Bitcoin wallet link for donations, the Monero wallet, the Bitcoin Cash wallet. I think there's even a PayPal QR code.
Okay, so let's just see if he's going to get into more stuff.
Thanks so much. And, you know, it was the most beautiful event. It was the most incredible in Acapulco, like not even close, not even one complaint by anyone the entire week. Everyone, I asked at the end if how many people had a life-changing experience. About half the people there put up their hands. So I'm actually doing it for them. They want to keep the event going. Like, you know, as long as I don't lose money on it, that's all I care. And I can't afford to lose money on it. So please donate if you can. Even like $10, like I said, would get a, you know.
Okay. So this is Hank Swank 68. Shared that. A lot of good videos. Again, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So some of the stuff, if you don't agree with it, just don't look at it. But yeah. Anyway, so on that note, there's no questions or anything like that. I will leave it at that. And yeah, so if people are going to, like, I just hope that people within government, cabinet and Senate, you know, and like the friggin' people that are supposed to be like looking into and investigating people, like I really, like we just need to say it out loud that this is the year it's going to happen. This is the year where our law enforcement all over the world, they're going to hold their own friggin' people that they've been protecting for so long. They're going to hold them accountable, right? Because these are blatant crimes against humanity. Like more and more people know, right? And this is also with the population control stuff that they want to do, right? Like if we get like over a certain threshold or a certain like number within the population, more people figure things out, right? There's like the likelihood of that, and the less ability to control the masses and exploit us, right? And which is what's happening, right? And so it's going to take people to let them know peacefully at all levels that we know, right? Like what's going on, and call out these people like Justin Ling, like Alice Hines, like Bill Blair, Marco Mendicino, Joe Biden, like countless others. Like call your local leaders, your mayors, your all of that stuff. Don't leave voicemails that are stupid. Like don't be threatening people or wishing harm on them and their families. Like I'll reiterate, like that is like accessing your lower levels of consciousness, your lower levels of emotions and stuff like that. And in order to beat the game, so to speak, or whatever you want to call it, it's to access the higher levels of consciousness, the higher vibrations, frequencies, waves that are more healing, that are known to be more healing, and where, you know, makes one lead a more spiritual life with, and thinking about the collective and the community. And that's this whole collective consciousness as well that people talk about, this hive mind mentality. It's when you think about the community that you're in and care about the community that you're in and care about others in other communities as well. This is also what helps get people out of the matrix, so to speak. And yeah, in this video game, this intelligently created design video game. And so letting your law enforcement know peacefully, sharing with them the data, the medical, scientific, and government data that I was sharing for friggin' years. And it's on a lot of my description sections on a lot of my videos, especially on Rumble, Don189 on Rumble. I have way more videos on Rumble than I do on YouTube. At least triple the amount, and a lot of good content that you will not find anywhere else. I assure you, all in one spot is what I mean. And yeah, and the reason why I'm keeping up with this stuff and why I lose sleep at night is because people that are good people are dying. You know, that are exposing this stuff, like Bill Cooper and Rashid Buttar, Dr. Buttar, and countless others I've shared as well. And like this, come on, guys, like we need the people that get paid the bucks. We need them to start doing your jobs. Lawyers, definitely need more lawyers from these cities to realize the inevitable collapse if they don't wake up. And yeah, I don't really want to be a third world country. I don't. And so on that note, I will finally leave it at that. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful day.